everyone, Spazzy Dragon here, aka Syndromes, and welcome to this new tutorial series on not Freelancer, as you might expect on my channel, but instead Dwarf Fortress. Yes, that's right. Apparently people are interested enough in the game, due to my last Let's Play, that they too want to try Dwarf Fortress, which, let's face it, is really infamous for its difficulty curve, or rather, difficulty wall. And, yeah, I agree. Discovery Fortress is in fact a kind of complicated game, but I quickly find out that as soon as you get over the initial, problematics for a new player, right, it becomes really simple, although no less fun. So this tutorial series is going to be a place consisting of many videos. Hopefully I can split them in a way that anyone can just find them as you need, and we are going to start from the very beginning and talk about Dwarf Fortress in a nutshell. So what Dwarf Fortress is a ASCII-based game, which, by the way, is the reason why many people kind of want to try it but really don't. That is the reason, because it's a really, these days it's really hard for people to understand ASCII, but that's okay because I'm pretty sure about half the people use tile sets, and we're going to explore the game with a tile set, don't worry. But first things first, we are actually going to get the game. So how do you get Dwarf Fortress? Dwarf Fortress is a free-to-play game, and it is run on donations. And actually half of the stuff is pretty much community made. Dwarf Fortress actually has a huge community of players and modders, so what we're going to do, we're going to open Google, we're going to type in Dwarf Fortress, and the first two results that we're going to get is the Bay2 Games. That is their actual homepage. We're going to open that, and you also have the Dwarf Fortress on Wikipedia. We're going to ignore that, but we are going to look at Dwarf Fortress Wikipedia, dwarffortresswiki.org. This is highly important for a new player, and quite frankly, I've been playing Dwarf Fortress for about 2 years, and I still constantly need to check this out, so you might want to bookmark this particular page. But anyway, so yeah, this is how Dwarf Fortress Vanilla looks like. We're not going to be playing this, don't worry. It looks really... these days, people would have problems understanding how this works, so let's just save you the effort and go to the forums. And first things first, we're going to go to Dwarf Fortress Modding, and we are going to go for community mods, mod releases, and utilities. So the reason why I opened all three, because I do not frankly remember where exactly is this. I think this is this is the one. There we go. This is the lazy new pack. That is exactly what we need. We're going to close all of the other ones for now. So this is exactly what it sounds like. This is a lazy new pack. It features all of the essential mods that make Dwarf Fortress a lot more accessible to new players and old players alike. It removes a lot of the redundancies in the game. It also adds third-party mods that helps you manage the game in a much more user-friendly sort of way. So yeah, one of the problems with Dwarf Fortress is that the user-friendliness is scaled back to -1000. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the page. This is going to be the one for Windows. If you're running something other than Windows, you probably want to download something else. The latest starter pack is always going to be on top here. If you're missing this, I'm going to place this link into the video description down below. Don't worry about it. And all you need to do here is download the thingy. Actually, I do have it downloaded right here, don't worry. And we're going to save it onto your desktop. And now it's just a matter of downloading the stuff, but don't worry, I'm going to kind of talk over it at the same time. So what the hell actually is Dwarf Fortress? And if you would just ask me, I would say it's a kind of a mix between SimCity and The Sims. in a way that it is about world building. It's about building up a fortress of dwarves, and it kind of revolves around the dwarves themselves, but dwarves themselves in a sim-esque environment, but at the same time it's a little bit more like Sim City in that you don't control the dwarves directly. You actually control them via the environment that you provide them, and the game simulates the dwarves themselves, and the game goal is pretty much surviving the environment, depending on how you act within the world constraints. Now, one of the problems new players actually, encounter at first is in fact the interface, and we're going to see that in a moment. But first of all, I'm going to show you how to install Dwarf Fortress. It's actually pretty easy. All you need is to download the Lazy New Pack, just like this. It's actually called the Lazy New Pack. It says here Dwarf Fortress Starter Pack, but LNP, it's basically Lazy New Pack. So we're going to open up the archive. We're going to minimize this, and this is it. This is what you're going to just copy paste onto your desktop and wait for all the items, many items, to get transferred. So imagine this. I realize the obvious question here is, well, why wouldn't I just play The Sims or SimCity if that was the case? Well, first of all, Dwarf Fortress is kind of popular because of its complexity, and the game mechanics that that the game uses are actually really sophisticated, and there's a lot of depth to the game. It's just that the steep learning wall really turns down a lot of players, which I hope that this video is going to help. Anyway, apart from that, we need to quickly touch up on what kind of computer runs this game. So this is a simulator, so obviously this game is going to be a little bit more CPU intensive than graphics intensive, because obviously the vanilla game is a ASCII game, so how the hell can it be graphically intensive? But I found myself that I could easily run this game on even a pretty low tier laptop, like a 1.6 gigahertz dual core. So if you have at least that, you should be fine. So after you've extracted the game onto your desktop, you can just rename it to something a little bit more normal, like just, Dwarf Fortress. And after that, we will need two launchers from this pack. First of all, this is going to be the launcher itself. We are going to make a shortcut to it over here. We're going to just rename it to Dwarf Fortress, like that. And at the same time, we also want to get some utilities, which is where is it Dwarf Therapist. So this is the other program that you need. I'm going to talk more in depth about this particular thing later, but let's just say this is a third-party program that taps into the running game and allows you to manage a lot of things outside of the overly complicated game GUI. And after that, we are pretty much ready to go. Remember, it's going to actually ask you the first time you run this game. You can just uncheck that and run. So this is the launcher itself. Very simple. And this is where we are going to actually stop the first episode. So this is how you install the game itself. This is how you prepare for it. In the next episode, I'm going to show you what the hell all of this is. And we are going to run the game for the first time. We're going to tweak the settings a little bit, and after that, we are actually going to delve into the game, and I'm going to show you why Dwarf Fortress in by itself is so fun to play, why I played, why other players played, even though this is a ASCII kind of game. It's old, but at the same time, it's fun as dicks. So this was Spazzy Dragon, aka Syndromes. Watch the next tutorial, and I'll see you in a bit.